In the quiet embrace of the Mont d'Iri mountain range, nestled within the rustic village of Goas-al-Ludu in Saint-Rivoal, located in the northern Brittany region of France, a haunting mystery would unravel that would leave the villagers and investigators baffled for generations to come. The year was estimated to be around 1919 or 1920, when a new life, that of Pauline Picard, graced the Picard family farm. Pauline, a cherubic toddler of merely 2.5 years old, was the heart and soul of the Picard family. Residing on their sprawling farm, the family of 11 led a simple life, immersed in the beauty of rural France. François Picard, a stern yet hard-working father, presided over the clan, with his wife Marianne standing beside him as a pillar of warmth and affection. 8 siblings, a cacophony of laughter and youthful exuberance, completed the tight-knit household. But fate had other plans, and darkness would soon descend upon the serene landscape. The Picard family, like many in the region, held on to their ancestral Breton roots, communicating in the lilting melodies of their regional language. Only François possessed a firm grip on the French language. This linguistic barrier isolated the family in a bubble of their own, shielded from the broader world around them. As spring blossomed on the farm, April 6, 1922, would etch itself into the annals of this close-knit community's history. The day began like any other, with the sun casting its golden rays over the idyllic fields. Pauline, an innocent soul untouched by the harsh realities of life, was relishing her outdoor playtime, her laughter a testament to the pure joy of childhood. But as the sun dipped below the horizon and the evening shadows grew longer, a shroud of panic began to enfold the Picard homestead. Pauline was nowhere to be found. A frantic search ensued, with villagers and family members scouring the vast expanse of the farm and the surrounding areas. As the hours stretched into an agonizing night, hope waned, and desperation took its place. The village was soon gripped by a palpable sense of sorrow as news of Pauline's disappearance spread like wildfire. Gossip and hushed whispers painted a tapestry of speculation, but no concrete answers emerged. The authorities, inexperienced in handling such enigmatic cases, grappled with the enigma that was Pauline's disappearance. With limited resources and an inscrutable linguistic barrier, progress was sluggish and frustration mounted. Despite the efforts of her family, local residents, and the police, Pauline's whereabouts remained elusive. Approximately 3 weeks after her disappearance, the prevailing belief was that she might have fallen victim to a wild boar attack or been abducted by gypsies. However, no gypsies had been observed in the vicinity around the time she went missing. Christophe Caramon, born around the 1860s, occasionally worked as a laborer for the Picard family, and also peddled umbrellas as part of his travels. He had a prior criminal history, having served a 5-year sentence for rape. On April 6, Caramon visited the Picard farm and showed a peculiar interest in Pauline before departing around 1 p.m. His arrest followed, leading to a month-long imprisonment. While the police detained Caramon under suspicion, François Picard's testimony placed Caramon 6 kilometers away from the location where Pauline was last seen. Consequently, the traveling salesman was freed from custody. In addition to Caramon, 2 other individuals aroused suspicion as potential suspects. A local woman had observed these foreigners loitering and closely observing the young girl. The police informed the Picard family that there was a possibility that she had been located in Cherbourg, a distance of 250 miles or 400 kilometers away. When Pauline's mother saw the photograph of the girl, she exclaimed, "It is truly my daughter," she cried, "my poor little Pauline. But how did she end up so far from us?" On May 7, the Picard family embarked on their inaugural train journey to Cherbourg, driven by a report from Le Matin newspaper. Upon their arrival on May 8, the Picard family promptly proceeded to the hospital to meet the girl. Although the parents were certain that the girl was their daughter, albeit noticeably thinner, they were puzzled by her inability to speak, her failure to recognize them, and her lack of comprehension of the Breton language. After spending 2 hours with the girl, the Picards began to harbor doubts about her true identity. The district attorney advised the family to remain at the hospice for an additional day, and Le Petit Parisien newspaper reported that the girl from Cherbourg was likely not Pauline Picard. On May 9, with the father having assured the press that the girl was indeed their daughter, the district attorney entrusted the speechless girl to the Picard family, who departed Cherbourg the following morning. The belongings discovered with the girl were unrecognizable to the Picards. Further differences between Pauline and the found child were attributed to amnesia, brought about by post-traumatic stress disorder, under the assumption that the young girl had suffered mistreatment at the hands of her abductor, and medical professionals believed that reuniting her with her family would aid in her recovery. However, there was no explanation for the means by which Pauline had traveled to Cherbourg. Upon reaching Goas-al-Ludu on May 12, the girl presumed to be Pauline exhibited a temporary inability to speak. Both Picard's parents and her siblings, along with the neighbors, identified the girl who had been rescued, and her frightened cries emerged when she was brought to the location where the abduction had taken place. The nurses from Cherbourg, who had accompanied the family during their return to Brittany, were certain that the girl had been reunited with her home. On May 13, a local farmer named Yves Martin visited the Picard residence and raised doubts about the girl's true identity. In Breton, he questioned, "So, is the little one back? Is it really her?" Following this, Martin uttered an exclamation variously reported as, "God forgive me, I am guilty, God help me, I'm guilty." Subsequently, he fled while erupting in wild laughter and was admitted to a psychiatric hospital in Quimper on May 14. Contemporary accounts vary in their details, but they concur that in late May 1922, the decaying and disfigured body of a young girl was discovered near the Picards' farm. According to Le Matin's report from Brest, on May 25, 1922, a cyclist located the body at a distance of 1,000 or 500 meters from Goas-al-Ludu. Another newspaper company, Le Petit Parisien, also based in Brest, stated that it was on May 26 when a cyclist found the body situated 800 to 900 meters away from the family's farm. Meanwhile, the New York Times reporting from Paris indicated that it was on May 25 when a farmer stumbled upon the corpse about 1 mile or 1.6 kilometers from the village. Both Le Matin and the New York Times detailed that once the Goas-al-Ludu gendarmes arrived at the scene, villagers, including the Picards, gathered there as well. Interestingly, the body was discovered in a ditch that had been thoroughly searched after Picard's initial disappearance, a fact confirmed by government officials from Brosparts and Rennes. The girl's body was found completely unclothed, decapitated, and lacking hands and feet. Accompanying the body was the skull of an adult man, suggesting a second victim. The man's head could not be identified, as the face had been partly devoured by foxes. Nearby, a pair of galoshes, socks, and a fustian dress were meticulously folded and arranged. These blood-stained clothes were recognized by the Picard family as belonging to their daughter, as she had worn them on the day she went missing. By May 27, 1922, Le Petit Parisien had become certain that the discovered body was that of Pauline Picard, a sentiment initially shared by the father François Picard, when the body was first found. However, when questioned, "Is this not your child?" by a commissioner from Rennes, François wavered in identifying which child the body belonged to, stating, "It's her clothes, but is it her body? Oh, the other is so similar." On May 27, 1922, a judge from Thetelltalechannel was expected to oversee the investigation, as the magistrates handling the case were grappling with significant uncertainty. Dr. Poliquin conducted an examination of the body, detecting signs of wounds, and subsequently sent it to Thetelltalechannel for more detailed scrutiny. Dr. Gouriou later examined the body and identified a stab wound in the groin, measuring 1 centimeter in length and 2 centimeters in depth. While the preliminary cause of death was recorded as violent homicide, investigators were leaning towards accidental death due to exposure. However, the autopsy failed to provide conclusive evidence for either determination. The judge from Châteaulin confirmed the identity of the body as Pauline Picard's, and determined her cause of death to be accidental. She was laid to rest in Saint-Rivoal, her final resting place marked by a white wooden coffin. However, by June 1922, rumors had spread throughout Brittany suggesting that Picard might still be alive, alleging that a prosperous family had kidnapped her and replaced her with the body of their own unfortunate child. Le Petit Parisien speculated that these rumors could lead to a reopening of the investigation. Up until October 2017, no genetic testing had been conducted on the body, leaving its identification as Picard's inconclusive. The girl who was found was sent back to a Cherbourg hospice on June 13, 1922, at the request of local prosecutors. Just shy of 2 months later, she was able to speak in complete sentences in the Breton language. This development prompted Le Petit Parisien to proclaim her as a Breton, and to once again suggest that she was the genuine Pauline Picard. Media coverage of the girl from Cherbourg, often referred to as the girl with the pretty smile, caught the attention of families interested in adopting her. She was bestowed the name Marie-Louise Pauline by the civil court in Cherbourg, and entrusted to the care of the Franciscan Sisters of Notre-Dame du Vieux. Sadly, news emerged on January 2, 1924, reporting her passing at the convent due to a measles epidemic. In her passing, the enigma that had shadowed her short life took on an even greater depth, leaving behind a legacy of unanswered questions, shattered hopes, and a village forever haunted by a mystery that eluded their grasp. The Mont Diary mountain range and the rustic village of Goas-al-Ludu would forever bear the weight of a haunting puzzle, a tale that despite its many layers, may never be fully unraveled.